Okay, so another Greg says, Rob, hoping to get your insight into a problem I'm experiencing. Non-diagnosed diabetic, 6'1", 200 pounds, athletic build. My blood sugar drops into the 60 to 69 milligram per deciliter during moderate intense exercise with moderate hypoglycemia symptoms. Measuring glucose, morning fasting 105 to 120, 2-hour post-meal, I'm 120 to 130. Chewing gum during exercise helps modulate glucose levels, but still seems like there should be a better solution. Grain consumption 1 to 3 times per week, limited sugar intake, water and coffee with heavy cream are my primary liquids. My adrenal labs, normal DHEA, high normal cortisol. Worried that a keto diet may further exacerbate during exercise. Any insight is greatly appreciated.
Man, so when someone's experiencing hypoglycemic symptoms, what I really start thinking about is systemic inflammation, insulin resistance, all that type of stuff. So, Greg, I would be really curious what your A1C is, as well as potentially fructosamine, so that we just kind of can look at both sides of that. I'd like to see what your blood glucose levels are over the long haul, and then also that fructosamine is just kind of a back validation kind of element. We had Dr. Sean Baker on recently, and his A1C was quite high. His fasting blood glucose was quite high, and knowing the A1C would have been helpful because, sorry, what was I calling it?
A1C.
So fructosamine, yeah. Fructosamine would be really helpful in kind of a secondary validation of like, yeah, okay, we have a ton of glycolytic advanced glycation end product activity going on. So we don't have that, but that would be something that I would look at. If you have elevated A1C, elevated fructosamine, then in my opinion, probably what's going on is some sort of an insulin resistant state. And so I could actually make the argument in that case that a ketogenic diet is probably going to be a great fit. And what you would need to do is moderate your intensity initially. So you're going to go lower intensity during that first 30 days of keto adaptation so that you don't end up with kind of a hypoglycemic event. Maybe you use some pretty vigorous MCT oil supplementation to make sure that peri-workout period has adequate ketones to kind of provide some alternate fuel substrates. If you don't have elevated A1C or fructosamine, gets a little bit murkier about what to do there, other than potentially having, like an orange or some carbohydrate source immediately prior to the workout. And this may just be kind of one of the features that you have. Some people who put on muscle easily and are kind of fast twitch, they have a tendency towards hypoglycemia. And so that's just a thing, because they actually have very, very good glucose disposal. So this is where digging in a little deeper on the lab values can be really important. I forgot to do it already, but I'll post a link to Specialty Health. We have a blood testing package that is basically out of Wired to Eat.
That's what you were
It addresses all of this stuff. And the reason why I recommend those things is it ticks enough of the boxes so we can build a really good kind of three-dimensional picture of what's going on. Most of the blood work might give us one dimension, occasionally 2 dimensions, but virtually never 3 dimensions, because we want to triangulate in on this answer. So Greg, check A1C, check fructosamine, and if you want to fire that back and let us know what those numbers are, and then we can make a little bit better of a informed recommendation about where to go next. But then the two options are either kind of a ketogenic diet, modulating intensity until you're fully keto adapted, or just simply taking a little bit of a carb bolus prior to workout so that you don't end up in that hypoglycemic slump.